Hello! I can't believe you've made it. This is Vic's Mix, episode 4. This is the show where I, Vic, who like 3 people call me that. I normally go by Victor, but you can't call it Victor Mictor, alright? I wanted to call it that. You can't. Please help. I take an album that I'm currently working on with my band Each Both. I take that entire album and I mix it in this program. This is Logic Pro. It's a program where you throw in a song and you make it sound good. This is a song right here. This is a song. Don't believe me? You will in 45 minutes, which is how long this episode is. I don't know that. Now I'm going to make it 45 just to spite you. Right, so this is a song, as we go forward, this is time, right? The song starts here, ends here. Each of these blue kajubies is a track. Most of the tracks are a single instrument. We got like vocals here. We have like 38,000 acoustic guitar tracks, some of which I muted, which was a business decision. Then we got drums and bass guitar. So it's actually kind of hilarious because every single one of these tracks does not represent one instrument. In fact, I don't think there's a single one instrument that takes place inside one track. They're all like doubled up. I couldn't tell you why I did that. Like the lead vocal, right? Which I'm gonna redo because I don't ever like my vocals. This is one performance, but it's 2 tracks because I use 2 microphones. It's a trick that only I do that has no upside.
Give me 16 hours, give me...
Well, how about you give me vocal lessons? Right? Everything is existing in this program. And I'm going through and mixing it because I got a 9-track album. This is the part of the show where I open up my notes app and I show you all the tracks. Episodes 1 and 2 we worked on Built For. This is episode 4. We're going to continue to work on the song Gimme. And this is the dumb one of the group. All right? Every friend group always has the dumb one. This is the dumb one of the album. It is a turn your brain off and rock kind of song. Not a whole lot to parse, which I like. I think it's going to be a nice little breather because a lot of the other songs are kind of sad and whiny and like dramatic. This song is none of those things. A couple of housekeeping notes. I'm wearing a hat, but my ears are showing. All right, I'm not just wearing headphones over a hat. The reason why my resolution is so big, I don't know if you've noticed this, but most computers, everything's smaller. But my resolution is really, well, it's a low resolution, but everything's really big. Because I'm running Logic, which is a big program, and I'm also running QuickTime Record, which is, I don't even think it's that big of a program. But Logic is just really taking up a lot of space. So to ease the load, to share the load, I've asked my computer to not worry about looking so sleek and small, so the resolution is sky high. This is episode 4, but this is part 2 of working on this song. So if you want to hear what the song sounds like right away, it's in the info. You can hear what the song sounds like pre me recording this ep. But I've done a lot of work since I last said goodbye to you on episode 3. In fact, all my work is off camera. I'm looking forward to just destroying the song in front of you. If you really like bass guitar EQing, I highly recommend you check out episode 3. Spend a good 20 minutes just EQing the bass. It's riveting. And these mixes are being monitored by me through these headphones, right? They're decent headphones, but they're not like official studio mixing headphones. So everything I do is actually just wrong right away because I should be using like monitors. Studio monitors just play the sound as is. They don't do anything to it. They don't add bass. They're not like Dr. Dre beats. They just play the sound. They play the sound. So you might be listening to this, whatever. Is this a video podcast? You might be listening to this on like a big screen TV with great sound system. You might be listening to it on your phone. You might be listening to it with earbuds. All those are going to sound different from what I'm hearing. So my point is, this is a horrible idea for a show. Let's dive in. I'm going to play the song, and there's a bunch of changes. I did a lot. I'm nervous. I'm nervous to show this to you. Here we go. This part's the same. Hear that bass? Hear that bass? Sounds good.
Give me 16 hours, give me stuff to do. Give me radio playing straight through. So much got up money being spent on you. Give me faith.
Much fewer acoustic guitars. I went through and muted a lot of the guitars. It was a business decision. I had to. Okay, so there's big changes coming up, just a heads up. Big changes. Yep. Big changes. Big changes. I couldn't freaking resist making this song. Right, there's that. I think that just goes on and on, so that's a boo-boo. I should fix that. I'll fix it right now. Actually, I don't want to fix it right now. I like it. Accidents, happy accidents. Let's just zoom in on this right now. All right, what am I doing? All right, so much to talk about, but we'll start with this track called Old Drums. It's exactly what it sounds like. A while ago, I recorded drums to this song. And that's the old take. Then we went back and actually recorded drums with very good equipment. I talked about this last ep. Come on, people. Remember what I tell you. So this is the old drum take. It was me in my friend's basement. It's looped, I think, which is fun. Yeah. See, these little blue bows, that means it's looped. I don't think I've ever told you that, but you should know that by now. Just pick up. It's intuitive. So this is an old drum track that for some reason, a total accident, it's still there. It's still playing. But listen, you can hardly hear the darn thing. You can't, it's because it's covered up by the old drum track. So, you know, if you've ever listened to anything I've said about EQing, you'd know that I should probably get rid of this so it's not cluttering up the soundscape. But I haven't gotten rid of it. I don't know why. But you know what's kind of cute is that the song is over, right? And then it comes back in. Isn't that kind of cute? Isn't it kind of cute? Most of this entire show is me rationalizing my decision making by repeating, isn't it cute? My God, people. Lots to talk about. All right. I'm not going to mute that. I'm going to leave it. So, this song is, I think I called it Shallow last episode. It's repetitive, right? You just got done hearing it. It's the same 6 chords over and over again. The chorus, I'm just howling, right? It's a wordless chorus. The drum part doesn't change much, and that's totally fine. Some of my favorite songs are extremely repetitive. Some of my favorite songs of all time are extremely repetitive, like Levee Breaks, Led Zeppelin. And it's just like that same drum beat over and over again. A bunch of harmonica. I mean, a lot of my favorite Zepp songs are repetitive. I love them. Can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm nervous. All right, don't make me prove that I like Led Zeppelin. I can name all 4 of their members: Jimmy Page, Robert Page, John Paul Page, and Ringo Starr. Right? So it's a repetitive song. Now what I've done is, last up, we muted the guitars in verse 3 and had it kind of be a hang zone. But I went one step further. I took a machete and ripped the pretty little wallpaper of this song, and I just gave it a big old scar. I weirded it up. I made things really weird, I think. Maybe they're not that weird, but just let's listen again to how weird this new verse 3 thing is. So here's chorus 2. Verse 3 is a comment. I added this guitar part. The drums fade out. But guess what? The old drums are still there. Like an old friend. There's that little synth thing. Drums fade back in. Yeah, this isn't really mixing. Right? I'm just explaining what's happening on the song. 90% of this show is me just saying, like, here's a guitar. This is vocal. No, but the drums fade in and out gradually, which is a choice that I made. It's precedented. It's in Black Water by Doobie Brothers during the hold that funky doo-doo-doo, pretty mama come and take me by the head. That part, the drums like totally fade out. There's like this vocal round. It's kind of awkward vocal round. And the drums come back in. I always picture it's like the drummer is on a raft and he's floating downstream. You can't hear him anymore. Then he actually comes back. He's like, actually, there's still some song. Which I like, because you don't often hear drums fading in and out. Right? They usually like cut, like the drummer will crash and then stop and then fill and come back in. So we're playing around with that. That's a weird thing. And then this guitar line. Here's boring history, but this song, this chord progression is old. It's an old chord progression. I had it used for another song. And like a good little environmentalist, I reduced, I reused, and I recycled. And this is a bit of a recycled song. And there's no shame in that because I'm stealing from myself, so I don't feel like I'm pilfering from my own brain. Only person that knows about it is me and a handful of other people who've probably heard the old song. But that guitar line is from the old song. Right. It was a guitar solo from the old version of this song. And I don't know, I liked it, and I figured, like, I don't know if I can bring it back ever, because if I do bring back the old song, it's just going to be really similar to this song. So it's like, I'm in too deep. I stole so much, I might as well just keep stealing. So that's why that guitar line is there, and I don't know, it's a new melody, right? It's a new melody that no one really asked for. Comes in late. Bunch of stuff dies down. I mean, this is my jam. I love weirdness like that. So I think I'm keeping it. But there are some issues. right? Listen to when everything comes back in. I got some clicky clacks. Not that many. And that other clicky clack that was on your end. Frustrating, right? Like, this is the one show where I'm like, listen to these little tiny things, and then there's already like my computer's like, so that is a problem. Yeah, so how to get rid of clicky clacks? There's a tool for that. First I have to get rid of all these takes. By the way, did I get rid of them all? No. See this? When I click that and this comes down, this is like tells me all the other takes. So there's maybe only one take, but you record a song, right? And let's say you don't get it right the first time. Well, Logic, when you record the second time, take 2, it will store both of your takes. And I'm just like a little hoarder. I keep those takes, and I'm getting rid of them now. I don't need the old takes, so I just flattened them. Great. Because in order to use the fade tool, you have to flatten all your mixes. Oh my god, this is so good. Bad time for my stomach to growl. Fade tool. Listen, this is without the fade tool. You're gonna hear a little, it's just gonna be very jarring. You're just gonna hear all the guitars kind of, you're gonna really hear them swipe in. It's not terrible. It's a little intense. So the fade tool just makes it smooth like butter. See that? You see that? You don't believe me? It's the sound you can see. Yeah, I'm not hearing a ton of difference there. What else kind of comes in right away? That's it. Nope. Oh man, so much has changed. I have so much to tell you. There are 2 bass tracks, right? This is the bass amp, this is the DI bass. So when everything gets quiet and that old guitar line comes in, I actually just rely on one of the bass tracks, the DI. So the bass gets quieter. Not terrible. There's issues. I'm not the best guitar player, so you know, I do like that riff we just heard that I added. Like the riff, well, more importantly, I like the melody of the riff. I don't know if my guitar playing is impressive there to the degree where it's like absolutely grooving. Also, I'm doing some improvised in the moment kind of I'm not sure I love that. Actually, positive. I'm positive I don't love that, but I do like this one. Great. Let's hear it again, because I didn't click in the right spot. So what happens is, right, I play that part again, but this time this nonsense is doing it with me. Listen to this. Oops, what did I just do? Listen to this. Fun, right? Right? Let's even make it more fun. I had something on there that was making it play a octave higher. Yes, pitch shift. Oh, I gotta tell you, Logic loves running pitch shift. Doesn't interfere with compression power at all. Right? That's kind of neat. Does it belong tonally in the song? Back off. Leave me alone. Just let me do what I want. A lot of melody happening there. I could definitely be talked out of having the guitar line repeat there. There's a lot of melody happening there. feels like, right, because this is the last chorus of the song. It's basically like the outro. It feels like a good time to bring everything back. There's just a lot of melody happening there. We're gonna have to come back to that. All right, what was I doing? Oh, now I know what I want to do. We're gonna have some fun. We are gonna have some fun. All right, here's what I have in mind. We're gonna focus still on this third verse. You're gonna hear that guitar part so many times that you're gonna want to just throw the entire folk music category out the metaphorical window, right? Because it's kind of folky. The song, not very folky, but then that part comes. I like that. I like the genre as colliding. I like it. All right. Here's my idea. Do you hear that? My keyboard has a wind setting. I want to have wind. I want to have wind in the background. I think that'd be cool. Let's add some wind. Let's break wind. It's going to be easy. This is the first time I'll be recording in this show, by the way. So we're breaking ground. New track. Everything's already set up. Don't you worry about that. We're going to call this Breaking Wind. Now I know, right? Sound effects in a song. It's a tough pill to swallow. It definitely changes the feel. Like, are we gonna be that kind of song where we're gonna have we're like one notch away from having like birds chirping. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna see what it sounds like. You might not be able to hear me talk while I record. Which adds old school, right? Brings me right back to episode 1 when I just kept falling out of the mix. This is great. I'm gonna make it so you can definitely still hear me talk. Great. I'm intrigued. Listen though, it's a very repetitive wind sound. Ping pongs back and forth. It's like just one gust. Like wind. Great. So I want the wind to happen during that part. What do I have to say? It's gonna come in right here. All ready? Let's record some wind. Here we go. Alright, there's our wind. We're not done yet. We ain't done yet. Alright. Here's where things get wacky and weird. So, I don't like how that wind oscillates very quickly. It's like way too fast. But Logic has this thing where you can slow down a track. Slow it down. Bring it down. That could be way too slow, but let's see what happens. All right, so I'm going to slow that guy down. Let's listen to that. It's just that. Yeah, very artifacty. You can kind of hear the little digital frost on that. But it could work to our advantage if we embrace the wind. Embrace the digital artifacts. I'm thinking a bit crusher. You guys know what a bit crusher is? You don't know what a bit crusher is? We literally talked about it episode 1. Maybe. A bit crusher takes things and it makes it sound like very digital. It makes it sound like pixelated. If a sound can sound pixelated, that's what that's going to sound like. And this could be a terrible idea. It could be really very bad. That's why we're going to lower it in the mix, so it's not the whole sound isn't going to be bit crushed, but 25% of the sound will, or 24%. It could be really bad. Yeah, I don't hear any difference. Oh. Oh. Making choices. Making choices. Just kind of spinning the mouse at random here. Right, alright. Alright, let's just see what this sounds like with everything. It's fine. It's not really adding much. I don't feel moved. Is that too much to ask for a wind sound effect to emotionally move me? Come on. I got some ideas though. They all involve reverb. Let's make the wind kind of sound like it is outside of our headphones, which you can do usually by having fun with the wet dry mix and reverb. But it's very subtle. Alright, I'm gonna keep the wind the same speed as it was originally, so it's less digitally artifacty. And then I'm gonna put that reverb on there again and crank the wet mix up. Great, great, great. Do you hear that? It's the keyboard. I keep leaning on it. Yeah, gotta turn that down. Sounds like an N64 sound effect. Perfect. Right where it belongs in a modern day song. Interesting. Did I not record enough wind? I had one job. I couldn't hold that freaking piano note down long enough. This is embarrassing. Wow. Guess we'll have 2 wins. Who cares, right? It's the most important song of the decade. Gimme Christmas. Alright, let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, I don't know, it's fine. Be cool if I could have the wind kind of climax at the same time as this part is over. Right? So if we take the peak of that wind wave, Legend of Zelda Wind Waver, and we maybe raise the volume like that, what will happen? Ooh, I kind of like that. A little bit too loud, but I kind of like that. Right? Intentionality. I'm not just putting sound effects in and seeing if they work. A little bit of adjusting. like it, but then we need to get the heck out of the wind area because we don't need the wind anymore. So we're just going to have to ask it to go away. That's why I like mixing. You can control the weather. Okay, you know what's happening? I'm listening to this so much that I don't even know where I am. Right. Here's where I am. All right, so we're gonna have to just stop with the wind right now. There's a number of other things that I was wanting to do, although they were pre-wind. For example, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff we could work on. I don't. All right, I know we're hanging out at verse 3 a lot. We're doing a lot of verse 3 stuff. Bear with me. All right. Here's a question: do the acoustic guitars need to come in right away, or can they fade in like the drum track does? Because either way, the vocals are going to come in right away. So what we could do is really extendoize the technical term. Extend the period that the acoustics come in by doing something like that. I think that's what you do. I could also automate it with the vocal thing or the volume thing. Yeah, so if I want to do this, I would have to actually go in like this and do it. I kind of want to do it. Just see what it sounds like. It'll be fun. It'll be a giant waste of time, but it'll be fun. Right? So there's our drums fading in. See all those? That's the drums fading in. There's our... Oh, we haven't even talked about this, but this is the synth part that Scott and I recorded at his apartment separate. It's beautiful. It's just like this nice tone thing. Which does a lot of legwork in signaling to the listener that the sort of quiet verse 3 part is about to end. Right? Kind of hearing it drone. And I'm also kind of taking away its power with the wind sound effect. Oh, that freaking wind. All right, let's just be calm. All right, I promise I'm not going to do a lot more wind. But I am going to ask that what is this tool? Okay, I'm going to ask that the wind is just slightly quieter. I'm sorry, you're just too darn loud. Okay, just a little bit quieter. Things are clicking and clacking in ways that I could not have predicted. Great. All right, we're done with the wind. I'm not going to talk about the wind ever again. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to fade in all the acoustics, see what that sounds like. Not open Google Chrome. Fade in all the acoustics. This will be fun because now I'm automating the volume on something that wasn't previously automated, so that just makes it really, really inconvenient. Next time I want to raise the volume of the entire track, I'm going to have to just go back into this mode and click and clack my way into what I want, which is fine. You don't have to worry about all this stuff. You just sit there with your mouth open, taking it in, not offering anything. All right, these are all my acoustic tracks. Now they're all muted. Pay attention. The gray ones, they don't matter. The blue ones, they're all muted because the volume's way down here. And we're going to bring up the volume again. We're going to fade it in. This could not sound good at all. We're going to slowly bring in the acoustics. So the only thing that happens right away in our last chorus / outro is the howling vocals. Everything else gets faded in, including the drums. Bold. I don't know. It's fine. It's not blowing my mind. It's fine. Could be a smaller fade, maybe. I don't dislike it. It wasn't really as significant as I was expecting. I kind of thought the entire song would just like open up and God would shine light down and be like, "You've done it again." But instead it was like a 1% change in the feel of the song. You know what? Actually, I hate it. That's what I do feel. I'm still going to have it fade in, but it's going to be like a really short fade that only exists to just get rid of that garish first strum sound. This is what it looks like when you lose your temper in a mix. You just take back everything you said you were going to do. You get out of breath for some reason. I don't know. I don't know anymore, right? We're dealing with a difference of like 1.5 seconds, less than that. This doesn't even make sense to me anymore. I hate it. I hate this song. There's so many other pressing matters. I don't like it at all. Oh Lord, what have I done? All right, I like that. I'm getting out of here. Not here. We still got work to do, but I gotta stop micromanaging these. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna turn off the automation, and we're never gonna talk about it again. That was a fun little 5 minutes. You know what? I like that you can hear the strum come in. All right, we're out of here. We're not, though. Okay. So I'll show this to my roommate. He is the aforementioned Luke Coulson. He's a mixer himself. And he liked how you can hear the drums, right? But he's like, something's bothering me. It's like, I can hear the cymbal. And I was like, all right, that's a pretty small thing to bother you. Thanks for nitpicking my art. But he's right. So, I mean, we're basically like, without my drummer's permission, without Josh's permission, we are changing this song. We're changing the way the drums work on this song, right? I like muted most of his drums here, and all you can hear is like this original take by me, which I'm playing a beat he wrote, but you know, we're changing his part. But the thing is, we can't we could, but we're not going to be able to go back into the recording area and record a new part for this new verse 3 idea I have. I mean, most bands would be able to do that. But we're not most bands. And I don't mean that in a positive way. I mean it like we don't have the means to do that. So this is just a long way to say that I'm going to take my old drum track and find a bit where I'm playing not on the cymbal, but on the hi-hat. Like right there. See how I'm playing the hi-hat over here, but over here I'm playing the ride cymbal? Of course you don't. You don't have the ears like I do. But yeah, it's going to be a real subtle change, but that's what we're here doing. We're just making tiny 1% changes that add up over the period of 100 years. So I'm going to take this and make it a little loopy. Too small of a loop. This is going to be the loop right here. Gotcha, right where I want you. And we're just going to say bye-bye to this. And we're going to have this loop occur when the verse gets quiet. Which I've been working on this so much I memorized the measure number, 133. That's when that happens. There we go. Subtle. So subtle. Oh, you know, you don't know. That's all I'll tell you. this is it's a fractal. It really is, right? So here I am sweating over this 1 second transition here, which is basically a facet of this 30-second thing here, which is itself a part of this 3-minute song. And we're making change. I mean, just by adding that wind sound effect, this song has a totally different personality now. Now you may not be able to articulate it, but when you listen to this song and after it's done and you digest it, it will taste different than it did yesterday before it had this part. Which I'm for, right? I want it to be more of a spicy meal, a little bit more of like don't have this every day. Because I think earlier it was a little bit of like a fast food item. But now it's got some interesting kind of like, it's burnt on one end, but the good kind of burnt. And that's because of this 30-second change we did. Which, if you want to even get bigger into this whole fractal tapestry, this 3-minute song is a part of a 45-minute album. And the fact that this song is now spicy and burnt affects the entire digestion of the album. And I think, what am I trying to say? You're trying to manage the mood of this entire system of songs. And you can't really do that abstractly. You do that by like going into a single song and making tiny changes, and they ripple out and they affect the whole thing. And to make sure you need to keep your one hand on the song, but you also need to keep another hand on, okay, what is the album doing now? Because you don't want an album that doesn't sound cohesive anymore. Or you need to have a grip on the big picture. And it's weird. Something that I always try to do, though, is what does this thing sound like as a whole? And you don't really know when you're out here in the weeds fading your acoustic guitars in and out like a chump. But you're trying. So what am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say. These changes, they need to service the song, but they also need to service the album. And right, this isn't like a super direct concept album, but there is a feeling and an emotion that I want in this darn thing. And I think the wind is the key to the whole thing, to be honest with you. I think the wind sound effect. And the fact that I cratered this song, right? This used to be a fluid jingle jangle thing, and now I cut out a bunch of jingle jangles, and there's this new melody coming in, and I think that actually will affect everything else that comes after it on the album. I have immense power, and I intend on abusing it. Right. Here's another question that I'm going to pretend to ask you, but really I'm asking it of myself, and I will answer it rightly or wrongly. Is the intro too long? Should the song start where the vocals come in? Right? There's no right or wrong answer. I mean, if you're like me, though, you're obsessed with the mood of a song. And the mood is different when you have 2 bars of setup versus when you come in right away. That decision, even though it occurs in the beginning of the song, is going to change the way listeners interpret the end of the song. I mean, it ripples throughout. And it's honestly tough to sample the differences. Because for one, I got my head up my butt so far up my butt with these songs, right? They don't even sound like songs anymore. They just sound like a bunch of wave files stacked up on top of each other. And for another, it will take a little bit of work to make the song actually begin here, because obviously there's a bunch of stuff happening.
16 hours, give me stuff to do. Give me radio playing.
So, all right, what actually kind of helps is you can go through and try to figure out, are there other songs on the album that start right away? Because I'm in favor of mixing it up. So if a bunch of songs all start with 2 measures or 2 phrases of just like vamp, then maybe this is the song that could cut it off. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to answer this question yet. Let me figure out what other songs on the album are doing, and then I will cut that. But it's just something to chew on, right? What else is happening? Got the cute drums at the end. They come back in, right? Ooh, you hear that fuzz? That fuzz has got to go. What is that fuzz? I think it's the bass. I think it's this. No. Is it this? Yes. I knew it. Alright, so let's do that. Let's do some fuzz cut. Get rid of that fuzz. Grab the dock. I don't like how my dock is hiding now. Let the record show I don't like it. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Alright, let's just fade that out so you can't hear that fuzz. That, by the way, that fuzz is happening literally in the entire song, but it's buried under all this nonsense that you can't make it out. I like the drums coming back in. It's weird. It's a weird thing that happens. Not what you'd expect. Right. Another question. So, this melody, the guitar, right? I'm obviously pro, right? I spent this entire episode, I was just like, I think this is pretty good. But should it come back? I don't know if I can answer that right now. I'm in too thick. That might be a sign that I should probably hop off the old Vix mix. We're probably gonna start a new song, new ep, which I'm excited for. So this is not a ceremony, but let's just say done. Not actually. Still problems with the that folk guitar solo melody thing happening later. Also, should the song start right away with vocals? Get rid of that opening 2 phrase of vamp. Wow, this just released this text instead of the album. That's just as good. Alright guys, this is Vix Mix. I'm gonna get out of here. We did some fun things today. I hope you feel alright about it.